We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Inflation numbers are out. We'll see what it means. Most of the news these days is political, which should focus your attention on U.S. debt levels. In Legacy, they have a saying, it doesn't matter until it matters. As the Department of Government Efficiency exposes all the things that it's exposing, it brings to mind the thought that we may need a different currency. Even if you like the current administration, even if you like them, damage may have been done, right? And the gold market is on the verge of panic, right? Panic and a parabolic. In other words, part of me is starting to wonder whether or not gold is going to start acting like Bitcoin in 2017 and possibly pull parts of crypto with it. Now, one part that I think the Department of Government Efficiency is creating for crypto is that they've got all the news flow, right? Like even if there is crypto news, it doesn't make it to the top of the heap because Elon has a Doge gotcha every day. And the Doge gotcha every day is propelling gold, not crypto. Big cryptos are holding, but small cap cryptos, especially stuff from the last cycle or stuff from the last two cycles, are melting. And you could be looking at a year before like the entire market, like meaning everything from the last cycle, every single crypto asset, the altcoin moonshot that everyone thinks, that everyone wants for their bags, whether it's old stuff, big stuff, small stuff, or new stuff, you're not going to see that. Not in this environment anyway. So what can go up? Big coins, right? The Cardano ETF. Who knew, right? Super small stuff that's new and any big stuff that's new. New is better than old. Like if you had a coin that shot all the way up and then went all the way back down again, and that coin's from the last cycle, you better love it because you may wait a long time for that to come back. Not forever, but, a year in crypto is forever. Okay. So, I mean, just be advised on that because people are coming in like, hey, I need you to chart 12 coins. I'll chart all 12, right? But the answer could be the same because if it's not big and it's not new, right, and it's not in one of the hot sectors that like, say, World Liberty and characters like that are participating in, okay, you may have to wait. Now, on the subject of a dead cryptocurrency market, it's dead. Meaning it's not moving. That's what I mean by dead, not moving. Okay. So traditionally, if you go back to the scarring move of 2018, crypto went down. Bitcoin went to 6,000 and sat there for like 2 months. Just sat there at the bottom end of a range. Now, this is, of course, different, but Bitcoin went down and just sat there for 2 months. And the lesson from that is when crypto just goes down and sits there, it eventually falls off a cliff, which is exactly what happened to Bitcoin. If you can imagine this, Bitcoin lost half of its value because new mining equipment came out. The big miners could afford the new equipment, and the small miners had to sell all their Bitcoin and close down. I mean, there were pictures, which I wish I had saved, of like Bitcoin mining rigs being put out on the street for the garbage. That's how catastrophic that tech upgrade was. Big miners in China, they could afford it. Small miners had to sell everything, and Bitcoin puked to 3K. And then eventually when it came back, it went straight back to 13K once that miner overhang was over. But the other lesson of that is that Bitcoin sitting still is just scary. Now, if we look at it on charts, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, you don't want to see, I still think you don't want to see a rally up that fails. If it's a rally up that fails, that's bad. If it just sits here, even though that's not the greatest thing, it gives us some room to at least be positive about what can happen when this really boring period is over. Because as I said at the beginning, the gold parabolic is happening. It's happening, right? And I don't see how anybody can look at a gold parabolic and say there's something wrong with crypto. There may be something wrong with altcoins from the last cycle, right? But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with crypto, like in a terrible sense. Ranging, okay. Collapsing, I don't see it, but we'll go over the news and the charts. Okay. Let's welcome who's here. We have Zob first on the stream. Zepedas, welcome. Brandon, Grandpa Keeter on the Pacific Northwest at 5 o'clock in the morning. Strong. Appreciate that. Okay. Huge Sammy Hagar fan, but I'm just tired of seeing red. I get it, dude. This market is grinding everybody into sand. I get it. Robbie Singh, Shelly, what's up? Taz Pinball, Miguel, Malik is here. What's going on? Old Smokey, Victor, Vanessa, what's up? Right? Rockfinder, SGSG, Maxwell, Iggy, Mitchell. Kong is here from South Korea. Good morning. Good evening. Welcome. Right? I'm funny, but you're a clown. Says this is one of the most underrated YouTube shows. I appreciate that. Pyle, Warmon, and oh goodness. Good morning. All right. So first off, the inflation numbers out. Bloomberg was like, oh my God, inflation's coming out. The world is going to melt down. Everything's going to come crashing down on the orange man's head. Whatever. Okay, so the inflation number's terrible. The price of eggs are up. Wow, what shocking news. Bitcoin's down 1%. ETH is barely moving. XRP's down 1%. And, altcoins are kind of melting a little bit. Okay, not shocking. Here's legacy media. Here's what it means for your money. They're showing the price of eggs and borrowing costs for longer and etc. Right? Okay. So market is down because algos will trade the inflation number and there's no upside gratification. You do have people with altcoins, like almost any altcoins, but particularly stuff from the last cycle is just, and that the last cycle could include March of 2024. Notice I got people talking about the W word. They're talking about winter. I just think the market is sorting out what's going to work and what's not going to work. Sometimes the market does that on the way up. And the real test of whether or not your coin is going to survive is how it trades on the way down, right? Something goes down, makes a new low, can't hold above the election lows, or it unwinds the election rally, but can't recover at all. That should be a warning sign. Now, if stuff's going all the way up and all the way down and making perhaps a higher low, okay, then you can hang on. But let's face it, you got to look at every coin in your portfolio and say, why do I own this coin? That's it. Why do I own this coin? And do I believe in it? If you believe in it, stay with it. Seriously. Because I think giving up on crypto, given what's happening with gold, is stupid. But everything that you have, if you have 20 coins, unless you're a savant or a genius, every one of those 20 coins is not going to move soon. Let's put it that way. You may get upside gratification in some coins. And one guy on Twitter who I respect, who's like a boomer from like 2 cycles ago, and this is scary even for me. He's like, Max Payne is Bitcoin to 200K, ETH to 2,000, and memes to 0. And I'm like, dude, that's scary because that could happen. Now, is that going to happen off an inflation number? Not right now. But you got people talking about super dark stuff. Now, basically general economics don't like the current group of economists out there in the world don't like Trump. Okay? They don't. They don't like tariffs. They don't like anything he's going to do. So they're forecasting the end of the world and the ultimate judge and executioner of financial crises. It's essentially all the problems from the last administration. Okay. Now, if you had problems from the last administration that are not yet brought to light, like it doesn't matter until it matters. So it has nothing to do with whose fault it is, like the last guy or the new guy. It has to do with the fact that there's so much freaking disturbing news out there that once it comes to light, markets are forced to react. Right now, the market's forced reaction is buy gold because somebody is shorted, the Fed, the Treasury, who knows, the Bank of England. That's the market's first impulse. Buy gold and Bitcoin will hold. Everything else we don't know about because, again, nobody is used to this level of disturbing news flow. Like that's what's hurting crypto. It's the disturbing news flow. Now, again, on a pain trade, right? So German stocks, German equities have become a meme index, right? In other words, Germany may finally be on the verge of a political shift, right? Like Europe may decide to move from the far left to the far right. George Soros' son is completely melting down over things like this. And German stocks just go up every day. German stocks are up only. They're like, it's like the new global magnificent seven. It's like, okay, well, U.S. equities are, whatever is going to happen in U.S. equities has pretty much happened. So let's moon German stocks. Now, how painful is it to be a crypto person holding altcoins, Web3 for the future, and watching legacy moon German stocks? Painful, which goes to the point of in crypto, in a bull market, you're going to earn your money. You are. Like if your portfolio is ever going to go up, you're going to have to sit and wait and watch, I don't know, nonsense like this. Okay. All right. So Bloomberg before the number, the hot inflation run is set to derail everything. And the sky is going to fall and it's all over. Inflation's at 3%. Yeah, we know that. We know that. Right. And if anything, you may start to get honest numbers out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Kind of interesting that they have not popped the hood on those guys yet. Because everything they've told you has been completely fake for 2 years. All right. So inflation was higher over Christmas, right? Everything went up over Christmas. Everything. So is that old news? Is it one last gasp? I don't know. The Fed's not lowering rates. They're not raising rates. They're not lowering rates. Trump wants rates down. That was on the tape today. We know that. But, there's no case for a move either way. Matter of fact, if there's a case for anything, it's to hold on to rate cuts in case of some kind of huge problem that we don't know about. Okay, the potential consequences of a short squeeze in the Bank of England gold, in the Bank of England's gold position. This guy, Just Dario, who's basically a one-man hedge fund out of Hong Kong. This is like, gold versus the German mark before they went into a hyperinflationary period. My father's cousin was in the military, and I actually have somewhere German notes from the 1920s where the $20 bill was 100,000 marks. And when inflation or hyperinflation or some sort of systemic problem finally happened, gold went banana zone. Same thing could be happening here. Right? In other words, Elon, by bringing transparency, is actually showing the market something that it can't ignore anymore. That's, I know that's crazy, right? They're fixing the problems. That's good, right? Okay. Yeah, maybe. But you're going to have to deal with volatility in the meantime. And I think, frankly, once they reveal how bad certain problems really are, that's when it's going to be crypto, Bitcoin, Solana, alternative currencies, alternative finance systems. That's when all that comes into play. The more bad news they come out with, the higher gold goes, the more likely it is that crypto goes up. And I think what everybody looks at, everyone looks at this indicator and that indicator, and everyone's trying to call a top. I don't agree. Now, if this doesn't show you, I got to follow this guy, man. If this doesn't show you, right? Just take this down. If this doesn't show you, right, the fear that Trump is installing, right? So there was the pardon of Edward Snowden, right? Who is going to, like, if he comes back here and winds up working for Tulsi Gabbard, right? He's going to take them apart. Just an incredible move on the orange man's part. We'll go over that later. Alex Soros melts down over Trump at Davos. Soros' son says they're dismantling the globalist customs that let unelected elites control the United States. He admits Trump actually broke their system. Checks and balances aren't written anywhere. In other words, we reserve the right to take control. And it's over for these guys. Now, question is, will these guys be back? Will these guys be back? Are they just going to fold up their tent and go home after trying to control everything for 20 years? I don't think so, honestly, right? And the need for an alternative financial system, once they expose what these characters really did, right? In other words, they're going to say, hey, they tried to do this, and this. They devalued your money. They killed every chicken in the United States for whatever reason. They jammed food inflation higher. And I said this on the show multiple times. A lot of what goes on with inflation, they did it on purpose. I don't know why. They wanted to break the average citizen and have you eat bugs. That's what the World Economic Forum was all about. By the way, Larry Fink from BlackRock is on the board of that place, just in case you think BlackRock is some nice institution. Thank you for doing the Bitcoin ETF. Now go get bent. Sick of you. Sick of these characters. Just remember, right? The case for crypto is made on what they've been doing in the past that has not yet come to light. Not yet come to light. So all this stuff about, we're not going to need DeFi. We're not going to need RWA. Why do you think BlackRock wants to get on chain? This is the reason why BlackRock gets on chain. Because when they start, are the banks involved? You know what I'm saying? Like, are there lists of elites doing things that are terrible? This makes the case for crypto, in my opinion, right? Because right now, it's making a case for gold. Look at this. United States has 66 billion 10-year bonds, okay, coming due tomorrow. So they did 66 billion back in 2015. They issued those at a 2% interest rate. Now, this 10-year bond is coming due, and they're going to have to do those 10-year bonds at 4.5%. Bond auctions like this are happening every single day. Every single day. We got trillions coming due. So, this is why Trump wants lower rates, because every single day, this like Elon is digging them out of the hole, and then the Treasury is putting more dirt in because they got to refinance $37 trillion in debt, a lot of that done at zero interest rates. We are just beginning to pay the price for zero interest rate policy, and everyone's bearish crypto. Like, let's get bearish crypto. Like they're opening the kimono on all of this nonsense, and we're selling and we're bearish. That's crazy. They wrote the Bitcoin Standard about all this stuff. They said, you know what? All this stuff's going on. McAfee said it. Snowden said it. Julian Assange said it. McAfee was the only one who really attached crypto to all this. And ironically, we're waiting for Elon to turn that AI agent back on again. Everything that all these guys talked about is happening right now. All the reasons why you want crypto are happening, and no one is interested. And people in crypto are despondent. Their bags are getting killed. I understand. I'm not saying your emotions are not going to be tied to your P&L, but when your emotions are tied to your P&L, you need to tune into the show and check this out. Here's how bad it is in the United States for anyone overseas. So public television, or PBS, right, is going to get defunded. Now, once upon a time, PBS was like kid shows, like Sesame Street, like Kermit the Frog, like Mr. Rogers, like, things that were American or wholesome or whatever you want to call it. It used to be like, I watched all of that stuff as a kid. It was like the kids' TV show. Then they went off the far left. They went so far left, and they were paid to go far left. They were paid to go far left with funding from whoever. And now they got to shut it down. They got to defund this. So if you live in England, they're shutting off, not exactly, but they're shutting off the equivalent of BBC. Because, again, when they go through the books, they're finding corruption that's so unbelievable. To this day, I can't believe it's not affecting the dollar. Because what people are assuming, and I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but they're assuming that when Musk goes in and exposes all this stuff and tries to clean it out, that the second Musk gets in his car and goes back to Tesla, that they're not going to put it all back in under something different. They're not going to put it back in under something different. The debt clock is terrifying. We don't go over this that much because this is old, right? So, this is the national debt clock and this is the Doge clock. I mean, at some point, this becomes real, like gold, right? Like, oh yeah, there's not enough gold. Like if you have a piece of paper that says you own gold, there's no physical gold to fulfill your order if you want to take delivery. That's been there for over 10 years, 20. No one cared until they did. No one cares about this until they do. Why do you think Trump is calling for lower rates? They had to notice inflation number was bad, but they're still calling for lower rates. Why? Interest rates have to go down. Interest rates have to go down because, again, the men in black are in Trump's office going, look, dude, you just popped the hood on all this. This is way worse than you think it is. Why do you think presidents all have gray hair 2 years into their term? This is why. Doge is looking into federal workers who have a high net worth despite having a low salary. So it's common knowledge, has been for a long time. Like Nancy Pelosi is running a hedge fund. Nancy Pelosi and her hedge fund, literally, she's a hedge fund. She or whoever is behind her is better at investing than Cathie Wood from ARK. Now, that's because they have all the inside information in the world. They have, basically, they're getting information. Who knows where they're getting their information from? Let's put it that way. They're getting their information from highly informed sources. Nancy Pelosi sold millions of dollars in NVIDIA the day before DeepSeek dropped. And, all of the AI stocks collapsed because, DeepSeek was supposedly open source and free, hurting, the American AI system. Like Nancy knew about that, or Nancy Inc., Pelosi Capital Management. Elizabeth Warren is a multimillionaire. All of these guys at the top, particularly all these guys on the left, are all multimillionaires, or guys in the center. It's like, they're even guys on the right. They're bought and paid for. How did they get all this money? We've known that they've had all this money. Nancy is Nancy is literally a legend in the equities community because, every time they do a trade, it winds up, with altcoin style returns. And a lot of it's done in derivatives. Now, I've heard all kinds of theories, but the point is, do we need a different currency? I think so. And no one is talking about that. Federal employee retirements are processed using paper by hand. I don't think this is a photo from years gone back. Okay. 230 feet underground, and they can only process 10,000 retirement requests a month, which are stored in manila envelopes and cardboard boxes, which frankly, for an old guy like me, is just not that shocking. They tried to make all this digital and they couldn't. I don't know, because I don't know. Like US government paperwork is processed in some giant bunker. Who knew? Right? Try to get anything done with the US government, and that's why you can't get anything done. And can you imagine a guy like Tesla, a guy like Musk, who's like building rocket ships and finds a giant underground facility full of manila envelopes, folders from the 70s? Like, again, they pull the veil back on all this, and then you start asking yourself, what currency do I have? Like, what currency do we need? Like, people are looking at this news, and they're looking at crypto, and their conclusion is, oh, well, my bags are not moving, so crypto has topped. I'm like, well, no, maybe crypto is just sitting there in shock, like the rest of us, looking at this going, oh my God, what does this mean? Why are they mooning German stocks? Like, is liquidity like fleeing quietly? Are people going, well, what are we going to own? What are we going to do? Oh, let's buy German stocks. Let's buy anything and get away from this. I don't think that's hit people yet. Okay, now speaking of hitting people, this has become crypto news I just can't ignore because I have like a personal angle on this. So Ben Armstrong, BitBoy Crypto, right, has put out some, let's just say, disturbing signals. Okay, he's got a court case against the people that ran his company. I actually visited that office in the heyday of the last cycle. I saw the live stream. I watched the entire thing end to end where he passed 1 million followers. It was unbelievable. Like, the channel about the behind the scenes of the main channel crossed 100,000 followers that day. So that's right. The behind the scenes show and channel about what BitBoy did on his main channel had 100,000 followers. Just in case you weren't around for the last cycle and you can't imagine the level of enthusiasm and mania that was there. Like, BitBoy in many ways was crypto in the last cycle. Now, here's what we have. BitBoy gets into a huge, huge personal and financial pickle, right? And now he's making videos trying to detail his case about why he's losing. And then the next thing you know, he goes missing, right? His Twitter account is gone. He deleted his Twitter account. The last thing he wrote on his Twitter account was goodbye, right? And everybody is worried, okay, because he broke up with his girlfriend. His girlfriend sent out a tweet. His girlfriend, I guess, he made a transition in his personal life due to his girlfriend, and she's no longer with him. So he's probably losing a court case. Now, this could be a classic Ben Armstrong publicity stunt. Now, if it is a publicity stunt, that'll just go to show you how little there is to talk about in crypto. Like, the biggest guy from the last cycle has to resort to either a publicity stunt, or the guy really has cracked. Now, in the event that the guy really is sick, I commented on his tweet. I reached out to one guy and I said, look, I will help this guy if he needs help. So you don't know what's going on here, but I do know that when you have stuff like this, this is what happens in like the middle of the abyss. Like, if BitBoy was on the air and he had 500,000 followers and everything was okay, this would not be happening. Okay. But the fact that, you have this level of distress, whether it's like, they're either leveraging the bad situation or it really is terrible. When you have stuff like this going on, that's a sign that people may be giving up on crypto, which is absurd, right? It's crazy. Right? You're finding out all the reasons why you ever wanted to own crypto. Like, it's happening. It's not like, oh yeah, gee, look at that. That's nice. No, it's like, wait a minute. The guy from the last cycle, the guy who carried the whole market, let's just say he's being ruined. Either he's ruining himself or he's been ruined by other people or both. Right? They've killed the last cycle. Hopefully this guy is okay. Right? Because, even the people that he went after, like he did go after all of his friends, some of those friends are still like, Ben, you said bad things about us, but we don't care. We want you to be all right. Ben, if you're listening to this, dude, regardless, we want you to be all right. When the crypto cycle returns, you'll remember the darkest days. You'll be like, remember when we all thought it was going to zero? Remember when people were upset? Michael Saylor says you should follow Metaplanet because Metaplanet stock is apparently up only. Okay. In other words, hey, what haven't we mooned? Let's moon it. German stocks, gold, Metaplanet. Like the money is chasing all the non-consensus positions. And in crypto, I think the non-consensus positions may wind up being some of the newer coins that have come out that are not meme coins. So anything in tech, anything in trading, all this AI, DeFi stuff, a lot of this stuff, somebody's moving. Like, there are markets that are moving. German stocks, gold, and Metaplanet are moving. So it's a sector game. Like, if you're dreaming of the day when all your bags moon and you dump it on someone's head and then retire, it's not happening. It's not. It's not happening now, and it may not happen for a year. So you got to ask yourself, what am I keeping? What am I owning? And what am I doing? Because something is moving. All right. So with all that said, now let's go to the top callers. The top callers are back. All right. So this crypto firm has been bullish for 2 years, and now it's calling a top. Okay. So you have really smart people out there who do their work, as my teacher in school used to say. They do their work. They're not stupid. Right. So this green number, this green bar is the percentage of supply that's in profit. Right. So basically, in this is, 2017, 2021, and now 2025, basically everybody who owns Bitcoin is in a profit. Right. Unless you bought Bitcoin at 108, you're fine. And that's what this shows. Right. Everybody is in profit in Bitcoin. Now, what this guy is showing, these guys are showing that, every time Bitcoin, these green number gets to 100, where everybody's making money, that was the 2017 top. That's what the 2020 top was. And that's what they're saying the 2025 top will be. So 2017, 2020, 2025. Now, first of all, let's talk about why I don't agree with this. First of all, you can use on-chain data to create any conclusion that you want. That's the problem with on-chain data. As an analyst, it's great. If you have 6 different things on charts and you want to drive it home, you might be able to find a cool on-chain metric so that you can add to your case. But on-chain data unto itself, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You want to see other indicators with it. Now, one of my points, it's not actually my point, it's a point that one of my colleagues made, is that whatever you think you know about crypto and how crypto works, cycles, trends, it's over, right? Crypto used to be all the way up, crashed for 4 years, right? Now we're doing that in mini cycles, right? Like all the way up, AI agents, crash. It's like a mini winter inside the cycle. And then something else will take off, right? So you're having little cycles within cycles. This is the new thing, right? Like one of my colleagues said, take the term alt season and throw it out the window. You won't see it for a year. You're not going to see it. You're going to see sectors move, but you're not going to see alt season. So if that's the case, then why are we working off this data? because there's, you're looking at your P&L going, wow, this is like different than the last time. It is. So let's not look at this stuff that mattered 2 cycles ago, because guess what? It's not going to work. We should be looking at the manila folders at the Department of Government Efficiency and go, we need a different currency. Because in 2017 and 2020, it wasn't obvious that you needed a different currency. Those 2 moves were liquidity-driven ramps of the whole system. 2017 was tether printing. 2021 was COVID printing. Like, just central banks printing $14 trillion in 1 month. Now we don't have that. Now we're actually going to have to earn our money by picking the right coin in the right sector at the right time, which is what they've had to do in equities for 100 years. Okay, so what's my little play? Okay, well, I own this coin. This is affiliated with nobody but me. Antivirus, AINTI. It's a meme coin that's attached to an AI agent of John McAfee, who invented antivirus software and then got disgusted with big tech and big government and got in trouble with just about everybody because he wouldn't take their BS. He wouldn't take their BS. And, he was the one who was like, IRS, intelligence community, government agencies, money printers, he's like, they're terrible. They're going to wreck you. And he wrote the Declaration of Cryptocurrency Independence. And they came out with a meme coin that's attached to an agent, which, we're still waiting for Twitter to put the agent back on because they didn't know what to do with a deceased person talking again. And guess what? They have utility, right? People are buying gift cards privately, right? They have an eSIM service where you can be able to talk on the phone and buy the gift cards at the same time privately. So it's a privacy onboarding system. And I'm gonna bet, this is my personal bet, this is me, that this type of thing, especially when they're gonna have to let McAfee speak again. They can't pardon Snowden and then not let the agent speak. That's my opinion. That's an opinion, right? In other words, this is my play. Hopefully you have yours. Like, I'm in this. I like the story, and I think there's asymmetric upside. You have to do the same thing with any of your coins, right? So, here's the thing from the guy with the Telegram group, bull posting the coin, right? If you're a coin, if you don't think you are here on your coin, then call your account and get in something that's going to go up, or get in Bitcoin, or get in Solana, or get in Ethereum, or get in XRP, or whatever, right? Get yourself where you think you're here. Like, what I think about my coin is irrelevant. What you think about your coin, that's what's relevant. Okay, so what does help if you get the right coin is that, there is a lot of liquidity sloshing around on Solana. Solana is breaking every DEX record. The general public is in there gambling every day. Why? Well, 1, they need to make money. 2, the green impulse is unbelievable. I mean, that's probably 80% of it. And 10 to 15% is they need a different form of money. Why are they gambling? Why the greed impulse? Why? Right? Why search for alt season when there's no alt season? That's what they're doing, right? They're banging their heads against a wall. Now, they will find something. Antivirus is on Solana. I made my bet. You're going to go make yours, right? But the thing is, there is liquidity out there chasing something. And if you give them something to chase, meaning if the news flow, if they pull the veil back and they go, you know what? We may need a different currency. Because again, they're only scratching the surface of whatever is going on under Uncle Sugar. They haven't gone into the Treasury. They haven't gone into the Fed, right? They haven't gone into the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They haven't gone into any of these things yet. And this says nothing about what they call entitlements, right? That's the big checks that the government writes, like, I don't know, Medicare or whatever. They haven't looked at this stuff yet. What happens when they do? Like this debt clock, it doesn't have any context until they start talking about how it got that way. So everyone's flying around on Solana. There's liquidity in the crypto system. Like, the market isn't moving, but people are in there. They're just waiting to pounce on whatever starts moving. Okay, so Elon says Julian Assange was right about everything. Of course he was. As a matter of fact, I think when they pardon Edward Snowden, Trump is letting Congress know that you better confirm my people or this guy, which has a certain person's client list, most likely, is going to get pardoned and is going to go public immediately. You give me, Snowden is a warning. You give me my people, and I won't totally destroy you. Okay? That's, when the Orange Man says he's doing it, he's doing it. I continue to believe that, right? I continue to believe that. Now, here is some ironic headline. So people are saying, the market has topped. Unfortunately, if you're going to do something to signal the market has topped, it's this, right? Banks want into crypto. Banks want to custody it. Banks want to trade it. All the banks want to become like Galaxy Digital. Is that bullish? I hope so, right? The last time all the banks wanted in was the top at 2017. Goldman starts a Bitcoin trading desk right at the top. The market goes down. 2018, Goldman closes the desk. The market goes back up. A lot of times, whatever the banks want to do, you do the opposite. Okay. Now, assuming the market doesn't go down, the fact that banks want in means they're scared of crypto. That's how I interpret this. In other words, I don't interpret it like, oh, this is what it was like back when. The only thing you look at is this is what it was like back when is that gold could go banana zone like Bitcoin did. And then potentially Bitcoin could follow the way ETH followed in 2017. That to me makes sense. But, banks want in because world liberty is going to eat their lunch. Like this is the other thing that literally just occurred to me now. Okay. World Liberty Financial is going to unveil their macro strategy reserve. So they're becoming a hedge fund. World Liberty wants to become a bank. And it makes sense, right? So Trump gets kicked off Twitter. Trump makes Truth Social, right? Trump chooses a vice presidential candidate who has flat out said is never going to succeed me because he is business partners with the guy who owns Rumble. Okay? So you have Truth and Rumble, and then he's going to want to make a bank. Like people may not like this, but Trump is acting like he's a king. He's a king. He's like, I want to control media. I want to control video. I want to control the rocket ships that go into space. And then I'm going to make a financial system where if you want your token to get any attention, you're going to pay us $10 million and we'll buy it. That's it. It's like, stocks, banks, when they used to promote IPOs, the banks would like for example, I remember Goldman, I think, did the Twitter IPO. And if I'm not mistaken, that when Twitter IPO'd and went public, like I think the Goldman lobby was decorated with the Twitter bird. Because, Goldman was, lead on whatever. Now, I may have that right. I think I do. But it's not uncommon. Like, hey, we're doing the IPO or we're doing the release for. They get paid to do those things. Goldman doesn't do that stuff for free. They help big companies IPO. Yeah, they get a lot of prestige, but they get paid to do it. So World Liberty's like, okay, you want to launch a token? Okay, you want to get your token some attention? Great. Pay us. It's an investment bank being made. It's also a prototype for whatever the Treasury is going to do. Again, how is this negative crypto? Because they're revolving it all around crypto. Now, these headlines used to be like, but these headlines are being drowned out now by, I don't know, inflation and, whatever Elon finds that day. The media's just eating it up. Now, what they don't realize is the biggest problem for crypto isn't that Trump isn't doing anything, although that is a problem. But the news flow is all Elon related. Like Elon owns the news. That's why I'm hiding in McAfee, because McAfee could have its own little news cycle, right? Its own little events when that agent comes back and starts tweeting again. Bitcoin is the same thing. Bitcoin has a narrative because gold is going up. But I can't believe you can look at what World Liberty Financial is doing and tell me that, it's all over. Now, there's some good news and bad news about this story. It's coming out that Ripple, Novogratz, and MoonPay helped Trump's Solana meme coin succeed. So MoonPay was able to borrow a lot of money to apparently onboard everybody, and Novogratz from Galaxy Digital, which is the biggest crypto hedge fund, and Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple lent them all this money so the Trump token could be launched. Okay. So there's two ways to look at this, right? Two ways. Way number one is, well, if the orange man gets involved, that onboards a lot of people into crypto. This is a crypto onboarding exercise. So we're going to lend everybody money, get the general public involved. It's an adoption event, once in a lifetime. We got to do it before the inauguration or we don't do it, right? That's one way to look at it. Bring people into crypto. Now, the darker way to look at it is that Novogratz and Garlinghouse, or whoever, funded this whole thing to create a mania so they could sell. It's a liquidity event. I hope it's not the second one. Right? Because this would not be the first time that a hedge fund created a rah-rah event and then just unloaded on everybody. Right. So, Novogratz is not stupid, and this is the oldest hedge fund trick in the book. I think Garlinghouse lent the money because Garlinghouse donated money to the wrong person before the election. That's why Garlinghouse was involved. Novogratz could have been involved. Yeah, maybe you're getting good with the president because, Novogratz didn't like the president at all, still doesn't. So was Novogratz trying to cozy up to the president, or was Novogratz and his group selling everything? We'll find out. Okay, so, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce suggests meme coins may not be regulated. I saw a video yesterday of a guy who only had 3,000 followers who says, you know what? Stop liking Hester Pierce. Like, the Hester Pierce is like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You think it's crypto mom, but she's actually not as constructive. It's special interests, particularly on the stock side, have Hester Pierce in their pocket. Very interesting theory, right? Ethereum could be poised for a rebound. We discussed this. Everyone is short. The Fed says no digital dollar. Well, of course not. What are they going to come out and say? Well, we want to extend the deep state control as the deep state is being dismantled or taking a big punch in the nose. Okay. Look at this. Former Supreme Court lawyer jailed as a result of crypto transactions. Uniswap issues Unichain. Okay. Elon's name change to Harry Boltz sends 2 Solana meme coins skyrocketing. Can you imagine what happens when they free McAfee? Because he's the one that's going to have to do it. Think about it. Okay. So again, this is about MoonPay and Trump, right? The Trump coin, that is. Okay, here's Jerome going, this is Humphrey Hawkins' testimony in front of Congress. So we're not doing a CBDC. Of course you're not. Now, you know what? I hate to say this, but you know what the other reason why you don't need a CBDC is that USD or Circle already is a CBDC. Like, if you don't think they can track every single freaking thing you do, if you're using USDC or even Bitcoin for that matter, right? This was McAfee's point, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, it's great. Let's get everybody on the Bitcoin standard. We need a different form of money. Bitcoin is hard money. I get it. Okay. But are you going to actually use that? I don't think so. Like, they want you to use it so they can follow everything you do. And they can do that with Circle. I bet they can do it with Circle. I listened to a Circle representative at Consensus last year go, yeah, we don't need a CBDC because there's really not a difference between a CBDC and Circle. And I'm just like looking around. This is like a side stage. There's like 20 people listening to this woman from Circle. And I think she realized what she said, kind of stumbled around a little bit. And I'm like, did she just say that? They can track what you do right now. Now, everyone's like, well, I like the president. I like Elon. It's not a problem. But okay, what about the machines that Silicon Valley builds? Like, are they going to pry on you? Is anyone going to look in on you? Like these people that they're putting all this pressure on? Like, okay, yeah, these guys are like running for their life right now. George Soros's kid is crying. Oh, so sad for you. They'll be back, right? And when they are back, or even if they're not back, they're going to build a machine. If they vanquish the bad humans, then we'll have a science fiction movie prying on you, predicting your behavior or whatever, right? What do you think they do with ads, right? You click on an ad for something and then you get more ads for that for a year. Like, you're going to want privacy. You're going to want it. And that's what McAfee was all about. That's what Snowden was all about. You know, Snowden goes to every Bitcoin conference and chastises them for not having a privacy layer. Privacy has not been traded at all. At all. And I have Silent Swap in my DM wanting to get going on promoting it. Right? Like, you know, privacy is being ignored. And what do you want to be long? The stuff that no one else is long, right? Like, look what's happening to German stocks, Metaplanet, and whatever. They're going after the stuff that people aren't long. If you're long what everyone else is long, it's not going up. If you're long what everyone else is not long and it has a story, it might go up. Here's a classic example. The Litecoin ETF. Now, historically, last cycle, I was a huge fan of Litecoin. I was a huge fan of a digital cash solution because I have no idea what we're going to use because we're not going to use Bitcoin. They adopted Bitcoin in El Salvador, and as a transactional currency, it was a total failure. Right? But now as a national reserve asset, of course, it was wildly successful. But Litecoin is back. Who likes Litecoin? Nobody. Nobody likes Litecoin. Even the people who like Litecoin are like cringe. They tried to turn themselves into a meme coin at the top of meme coins. It's supposed to be like fast Bitcoin, right? And they theoretically have a privacy function, right? And it's not the greatest tech in the world, but it's still cheap, fast Bitcoin. Really, that's what it is. And now they're going to put it in an ETF instead of Solana and XRP. Again, who knew? Who knew this? Right? I mean, if this market got going, Litecoin could go up. Now, it's to me, it's never been constructive that when Litecoin and Zcash, even though I love both of them, when they rally, it's generally not good for the rest of the market. But was a Cardano and Litecoin ETF on your bingo card? It was like a sub headline a month ago. Now it's like, oh, okay. Everyone hates Cardano and hates Litecoin, therefore they go up. What goes up? What no one likes, what everyone hates, and it's hard to buy. Such a truly, truly bizarre market. Okay, virtual, right? Virtuals is now on Solana, right? So I have virtuals on Solana here. I have it at a 25 million market cap. I'm not sure if I got the right ticker or not. Again, on Solana, something is going to happen on that chain. Like the liquidity that's sitting on that chain waiting for something to happen. Now they're probably, I don't even know what they're chasing. God only knows. But if there becomes something that emerges, this could be Fartcoin. Like I know guys, I know institutional money. Guys track this stuff. Institutional money is moving into Fartcoin at the lows. It's not for me, it's not for me to say at this point what happens because the crypto market is so dead. It's so dead. Okay, what are you going to do with XRP? So let's talk about that. Well, you know, all these charts, they all look the same. Like literally, it's painful. Okay, so XRP has a 9 bottom. It's not going up. It's not going down. You want to be careful of a failed rally. Okay. So these rallies, they look like little failed rallies. I mean, but it's not definitive. It's not definitive, right? Like in ETH, okay, they weren't associated with nine tops. Excuse me, 9 bottoms. I'm trying to find the last big ugly downtrend in ETH that was like sustained. I don't know if I can find an example, but the point is, you do not want to see a failed rally. You don't. When you get one, when you get one after a 9 bottom, you have 2 down weeks. But the thing is, in ETH, like all of these moves, like this 9 bottom here, there's a 9 bottom in October of 2023. There was a 9 bottom in January of 2024. I have such a hard time being negative on ETH or XRP. Such a hard time with this, right? Because a lot of times these signals have been constructive. Now, I don't like what's going on in Solana. Solana's 9 bottom was a couple days ago, and it's like slumping. Hey, that said, looking at the DeMark work, it would be a perfect time for a turnaround, okay? A down move I could live with, like this thing with CPI where the algos are selling, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like algos always do these trades. Algos sell tariff trades over the weekend. It's all baloney. It's all automated trading off the wrong news, at least as it relates to crypto. So what would I do with XRP? I would just sit there. I would just sit there, right? If you believed in XRP, there's zero reason to move out of it unless you get stopped out of it or you want to move to Bitcoin. Those are the only reasons to make a change in an XRP portfolio right now. Okay. Don't let them chase you out of this market for BS reasons. If you did a bad trade and you need to stop out, then just do it. Your accountant will love you. But I don't think you should go running out of this market because, again, all this news that comes out means 2 things. 1, we need a different currency. 2, the dollar is being devalued versus gold, right? So if we need a different currency, crypto's a different currency, and they're currently devaluing paper currencies versus gold, that has to equal a crypto up move. And find yourself an altcoin with a theme. I like a privacy theme, a little AI agent, some catchy stuff. Take a shot, right? But take a shot at new stuff. Don't take a shot at old stuff, and don't sit around and pray that old stuff that went up and went down is going to come back right now, right? Because alt season isn't happening. You can have Bitcoin season. You can have XRP season. You can have these things moving on ETFs. You can have sectors move, like AI-related DeFi. Kaizen's good at that stuff, finding those coins. But just get your head right and then get your P&L right. And in my opinion, don't listen to these doomsayers about a top because everything that used to work hasn't worked. So why are we listening to that? Listen to yourself. Listen to common sense. That's the market update. We will see you next time.